What's happening? What's good, people? Y'all think Rich is gonna be mad because I use this intro? I like that. Boom, 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 boom. Listen, man. Tonight, making a special appearance on the platform, my favoriteest channel. Favoriteest isn't a real word, but the best channel ever, which is the Black Comic Lords YouTube channel, man. And I just want to say thank y'all for having me in here, having back. We are going to do a short and sweet show, but unlike a lot of my shows, this one is not going to be filled with doom and gloom. We're actually going to talk about some dope stuff that is going on in comics in the aftermarket. Not a lot of podcasts, not a lot of YouTube these days that actually talk about what happens after you buy these books. They sit a little bit and then you resell them on the aftermarket. Well, I got some good news for y'all because there's a lot of books that you probably have in your collection that if you got a couple of extras, you need to go ahead and see if you can unload them. We're also going to talk a little bit about some action figures. I know some of you guys do action figures. Those are for kids. Listen, we're going to talk about some comic books that you probably have in your collection or you need to get. Maybe you want to do a flip. Maybe you just want to say, hey, I want to get this. I'm going to try my best to make sure that I give y'all all the information and tools that you need. I need to pull up, though, I need to pull up the chat so I can see, so I can keep in touch and see what you guys are talking about. But we're going to jump right into it. Here is a book. How do I want to say this? I usually say things like comic books nobody cares about but me. But this time, I'll spare y'all from that. Let me see if I can pull it up. Hopefully you guys can see this pretty good. This was unexpected, LOL. Herschel, will you guys ever talk about mergers, partnerships, sponsorships, acquisitions between the indies for growth? We've actually sort of talked about that. We might get into that a little bit later on tonight. So in front of you guys' face, I want to jump right into some of these books. I'm really, really, really excited about this comic book. This is called Original Boy, Day of Atonement, 1996. Now, this is original Black comic book. Everybody's like, original, support your indie, support original Black comics. Listen, this book, came out during the Million Man March, actually a year afterwards. We all know that happened in 95. I actually might want to go watch again, get off the bus. I remember watching the Million Man March. This book right here came right after that. This book is not, it's not very well traveled. You don't hear a lot of people talk about it. But it was created by Alonzo Washington, who is active on social media. And he put this book out with a host of other books. I've done video and content on Alonzo Washington with Omega 7, which is his company. I believe he started in like 1992, and around, and then a year later, we got Anaya Comics or Ania Comics, and we got his company, which is Omega 7. His comic book, which is Original Boy, just sold in the aftermarket for $400, and I believe it just sold, I think, about a week ago. I don't know if I see the date on here. But this is phenomenal. I've never seen this book go this high. As a matter of fact, the highest I've ever seen this book go for in the aftermarket is probably $100. Okay, so I know your first question is, what makes this book significant? Why should I care about this book? Number one, you're not going to find a whole lot of Black indies that are created today unless you're talking Herbert Brantley. Maybe you talking about Ripa or something like that's going more for $100. This isn't considered a modern book. This is like a 30-year-old book. I actually own, just as recent as last year, I actually own 5 copies. I only have 4 here, but I had owned 5 copies, and one of them is actually signed from last year from Alonzo Washington. You might be able to go in the Kansas City, Missouri area and find these books in a long box. This kind of gives me Black Man Tom Floyd vibes. I think that's probably your best bet to find these comic books if you're in the Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas area. Definitely hit up some of those long boxes, those old dirty shops, way in the back, where the boxes all fall on top of each other. It's probably in there. It's probably in there. I don't know how long this book sat on market, but this was a phenomenal sale. I actually have not read this book yet. I'm actually scared to open it. It's been sitting since '96, and it's in pristine condition. What I'm thinking I'm going to do, the one that is signed, I'm going to get that graded. I'm going to get it pressed first. I think she'll do 9.6 to a 9.8. I'm not a professional grader, but from what I see, I think I should get a yellow label. Hopefully, they can authenticate that Alonzo Washington is the creator of Omega 7 Comics, and they do a good job on that. We'll get into a little bit more of some other Omega 7 books, but you can go on eBay, because this is where I got this from, and take a look at some of the more details about this book. I haven't read the story, but it was really, really dope, because Original Boy comes from the Original Man, which was also created by Alonzo Washington as well. So a lot of times when you hear the narrative, indie comics, it's more like, oh, you got to support them. Oh, you got to support them. This is a hell of a support in the aftermarket. This is stuff people don't talk about. And all the noise that we got going on with Marvel and DC, it's great to see that behind closed doors, this book is making for great deal flow. I wanted to give a shout out to the person that gave me some of these details. I'm not going to say your names. I know you like to remain anonymous, but definitely wanted to shout you out. You know who you are, so I appreciate that. All right, let's scroll through. Let me blow this up. We're going to go to our next book that we're going to discuss. Close some of this stuff down. And I'm going to go here. So the next book that I want to discuss is, wow. So this is original art, George Tuska, Billy Graham art, George Tuska art for Luke Cage, Hero for Hire, #1. Original art. This is one of one. This means that when they did this, they turned it in. They created. This is the splash page on the inside as well. A lot of people don't know what splash page is. That is the very, very first page that you see on the inside of a comic book. They don't do as good of a job, in my opinion, these days with like really giving you a nice kickoff. But your first page is the very first thing you see. And somebody bought this year, February 27, for $187,000. Now, I think, and the funny thing about it, even in a 9.8, a 9.8 is not going to sell for $187,000. So you mean to tell me the original art on the inside, which it obviously makes sense, that's going, I don't even think, now somebody in the comment section, correct me if I'm wrong, has the actual book Luke Cage Hero for Hire ever sold for this much? I doubt it. But there's, again, people, there's money to be made. If you come down here to Orlando, Florida, to OAX, you can go to the original art, basically con, and they have tons of this stuff. Now, this was sold on Heritage Auction, and when you have high grade of a stuff like this, sometimes you won't find it at OX, sometimes you'll find it at Heritage Auctions, you might find it at Golden Auctions, but you definitely, I mean, who has $187,000? I don't know, but a lot of people did obtain these things when they didn't go for this much, and now these people are able to cash in. Again, black-led characters, not black-owned, but black-led characters that are selling for big money. These are the things that we should be talking about as well out in the community, but alas, we are not. It's a lot of stuff going on, but we're not talking about the great, all these deals that are going on online. These type of things are super, super important. Let's see what else we got going on here. So, Sister Girl, Queen of the Black Age, Tortel O'Nelly. Some of you guys have heard of us speak about Tortel O'Nelly. He was the king of the Black Age of comics. This was the guy that created a lot of Black original characters in the 90s. This is before Kickstarter. This is before social media. This is before support me. Come to my website. Check out this is before all that. This is literally and this is by Tortel O'Neilla's own words. We went to the Black Expo that had nothing to do with comic books, and we would set up a table and we would put out our comic books on tables. We would travel, and that was the only way we could sell. There was no social media. We worked inside of comic book shops. Then we created the Black Age of Comics in '93, and then we called people on the phone that we've never saw before. Hey, we heard you guys got a publishing company out in California. You guys come over this way. Boom. And so that's how these guys hustle. This is how these guys did. Now, this book sold for $56. This book is basically a ghost. I think this is the first book I've ever seen online that has sold, and it's with Sister Girl. Now, this book actually came out in 1993. This was probably the first Black female superhero, right, to ever be created by a Black man in her own title. So a lot of people have heard about Ebon. We'll talk about Ebon a little bit more, but I believe this is the first Black female in her own title, Sister Girl, to ever be created by a Black man. That's important. That will be a first. Now, is she the first Black female superhero to ever be created by a Black man? No. You do actually have Alonzo Washington, who I believe actually had her printed and produced inside of the original Man #2 is when she makes her first appearance, and that would be in 1992, which was a year before this. So she would be the first Black female superhero to ever be created by a Black man, but Sister Girl would be the first Black female superhero ever created by a Black man in her own title. Thank Luke Cage, thank Ebon, and things of that nature. So this book went for $56. I'm pissed I didn't get it because I would have definitely probably won this bid. For $56, I can't say that more than about 5 people probably even bid on this book. Nobody was probably watching and paying attention. I actually want this book and actually Malcolm 10 by Tortel O'Neill, and I slap myself all the time because we did not get an opportunity to bring Tortel O'Neill on the show. But if you see this out in the wild, grab it. The art is a little. I think he did some of the artwork as well. You can go and Google this. I'm big on you guys doing the research. He did some of the artwork for P-Funk back in 1980. One of his albums he did. I think I posted it up in BCL before as well. And I think that was last year, right after he died, because we were trying to honor him. All right, let me bring this down. Okay, so the next book that we're going to talk about, Fast Willie Jackson, complete series. A lot of people think that's more than 7 books. It's just 7 books sold for $12,200. Guys, let this sink in. We've been talking a lot about what's good and bad in the community. We're talking a lot about DC, them dropping the ball. We've been talking a lot about Marvel, recast the child. We've been talking about that for the last 6 years since Chadwick Boseman's been gone. And now, behind all of that, look at all the cash that is being thrown at Black books, Black-led characters. The entire series going for $12,000. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? So this is really, really great. Okay, so I have a question. Hey, how would I get in touch with you guys? You guys have to email blackcomiclords at gmail.com. That is how you get in touch with us. The fastest, best way. Blackcomiclords at gmail.com. All right. These are other books that you guys. So Fast Willie Jackson depends on the number. Fast Willie Jackson #1. None of these books I own. I'm more like a superhero centered guy. But most of these books, let me blow this up for myself. Most of these books, issue 1, issue 2, issue 3 might be easy to find. But the rest of these can be pretty tough to find, especially if you want them in a high grade. This was also sold at Heritage Auction, and this was just week before last. $12,000 for a Black-led series. Yes, this does look like Archie the comic, but super dope, super killer. A lot of books moving, a lot of makers and shakers. Now listen, let us know. We know Cover Price and Key Comics. They put out a lot of information about books that are hot for the week, hot for the month. maybe even hot for the quarter. We actually used to do that back in the day, back in 2020 during the comic book speculation age. Do you guys want us to bring that back and have it on our website and disseminate that out so you guys can see it? And we'll have our own black top movers and shakers. If you guys are actually going to look forward to that, we'll put the time and effort into doing it. We stopped because we didn't really get a lot of feedback. We didn't get a lot of traction in those areas. And I think a lot of it had to do with, movies were kind of king at the time. And there was just a lot of lack of information that was going around in the community. But hopefully, you guys email us, get in touch with us, let us know if that's a direction that you want to see us go. All righty. So here's a big one. 9/8. Nobody, we all thought, okay, let me back up. I want to take my time on this one. Eban, or Eben, well, actually his name is Eben. This is probably one of the crown jewels of our community. And I say that because people in our community have had this book. People in our community have always known. Uh-oh. This site looks suspicious. Dangerous. Oh, man. Are we back? I guess we back. I don't know what just happened. Anyways, I'm gonna blow this up. Can you guys still hear me? I don't know if you guys can still hear me. I guess you guys can. Somebody let me know in the chat if you guys can still hear me. So we just went mute for a minute. Waiting for somebody to tell me that y'all can still hear me. What was I gonna say? Yes, okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate you, Eye of the Watcher. So a lot of you guys know we've been talking about this book forever. Eban, for the people who are, I don't want to say, catch a late pass, but the people are new. Eban or Eben, either one, either or, but Larry Fuller says Eben. This book was actually created in December. In the comic book, it says December 1969 on the back page. This book was created in 1969, but on CGC, it's going off of January 1970. But the 1969 part is just so you guys know what's on the inside of the cover. But it is listed January 1970. Larry Fuller fought in the Vietnam War. He came home. He decided to get into comic books. This was his first creation. And the funny thing about it, we actually have a whole video where we actually interviewed Larry Fuller probably about 5 years ago. But he's probably got 2 or 3 other videos online as well. He created Eban. I keep saying Eben because Eben, and they actually printed it at one of the world's first comic book shops out in San Francisco, called San Francisco Comics. They made 100 copies, and some of them sold, some of them sat around, and they lasted for years. In 2019, I saw it online, showed it to one of my partners who would go on to really, really get close to Larry Fuller. And I think he's got maybe 8 copies now, and he's got at least one of them in a 9.6. And I think there's another gentleman that has it in a 9.6 as well. We all speculated that there might be one in a 9.8. And so we found out, I think, late last year that there was one in a 9.8. And we saw it. It went to auction at LPA. They decided to take it to LPA, and it went for $16,000. My personal opinion on this book, I think, had it been 2020 during COVID speculation craze, at minimum it would have went twice this. At minimum, it would have went twice this. Possibly. I think if the information goes out the proper way and is curated throughout the entire comic book community, I think if we can find some type of resurgence with some of these black books and more efficacy and information, you might be, I think, minimum. Now we're in the 50 grand range. And I think I'm being really fair. Given that this is the first black superhero in his own title to ever be created by a black man. Those are a lot of qualifiers in there, but still, that matters. There's been a lot of black superheroes created by a black man in history, but never in their own comic book created, written, and drawn by a black man. No, that's never happened. Not to my knowledge. If I'm lying, correct me. You guys have the keyboards to jump in. So this book went for $16,000. I will surmise that we will see this comic book again in the next 10 years. 9-8, we can check the barcode, and we all got screenshots. Within the next 10 years, this same book is going to go back to market. This person bought this book. It's not going to show up at no museum someplace or Black History. No, somebody's going to keep this in a vault, in a safe, and when they think it's time, they're going to bring it out. This is probably the only one in the world. And they're going to bring this out, and they're going to sell it. And hopefully they sell it right. Hopefully it does not sell for less than 16.2. But I think in the perfect conditions, she can go minimum $50,000 easy. I think that's what would be fair, given what this is. Again, Black independent comic. Before Kickstarters, before conventions, before cons, before superheroes was really this big giant thing that it is today. There also has been some action figures for this, but I believe those action figures are no longer available, and they sold for around $300. They did a pretty good job on it. They stayed true to form with the coloring of the different colors that they had: the yellow, the grays, and the light gray as well. So historic book. Are you going to find this in a while? Hell no. Are you going to find this at a con? Possibly. A lot of tabloids, and when I say tabloids, that means basically you're going to see a copy like this, and then you're going to see a copy where there's extra paper around the side, because what they did was they had to cut these books out to size that you see here. But the tabloid meant that they printed out on tabloid paper, and they never cut it. They just issued it out. And so there are several comic books like that are in existence. If you want to take I don't want to give his name away, so I would say if y'all want to take a deeper dive into this, reach out to such and such, but I don't want to do that because I don't have his permission. I know some people don't want to be bombarded like so. Next book that we are going to cover, Negro Romance. Again, these are older books. This is before this craze. Negro Romance, Heritage Auction. You're gonna get some different numbering when you deal with Heritage Auction. Then I believe this is number 2 or 3. I gotta go back and let me go back and take a look. I believe this is issue number 2. But this is like one of the covers that is most popular. It looks like a number 3. I think this is it's up top here. Negro Romance number 2. Negro Romance number 2, 7.5, from 1950. It's basically a love comic book. Real people on the cover, love comic book, dope book. Are you going to find this in the wild? Hell no. And if you do, the comic book shop needs to file for bankruptcy. They need to just shut down. They need to sell everything they have in there. If this is sitting in, because even the white boys know about this, big time. And a lot of them own this book, a lot of them collect, because they understand the importance of these characters, especially at the time. This was not something that was super common. Do we know? I don't personally know how many copies that were ever created and made, but I will tell you that these are the books that don't get enough attention in the Black comic book community. They're not talked about on Threads. They're not talked about on Instagram like that. These are the books, unless you have a podcast, a YouTuber, or a site, maybe Black Comic Lords, I'm not trying to brag, dedicated to Black comics and just Black comics, old and new, you're not going to hear about this book. Or you're going to have to go to a white group or a regular comic book group, and it might pop up. So it's a blessing. Like somebody turned me on to this. years ago. And again, this isn't what I don't collect stuff like this, but I respect the fact that this is historical. This went for 5124. Great sale. I think for what this is and how sought after this is, you're talking for me minimum 20K. 20K minimum. I think this book should go to under good conditions. Really good conditions. I think this book should go to 20K in a 7.5. Now, I haven't seen the CGC census. Maybe there's tons of them in 7.5s, 8s, and maybe there's some comps out there that show 8s and 8.5s and 9s and 9.4, 9.2s that are kind of comparable to 5, and maybe I'm shooting too high. But I'm just going off the top of the dome. Alrighty, we're gonna go next book. So this book, so we remember we just got through talking about Eben. Eben and a 9.8 sold for 16.2 or 16.5 or something like this. A 9.2 back in February 28th, which is the week before last, just sold for $6,710. 9.2. A 9.2. And there's a raw that sold for the same thing that wasn't even graded, and that sold back in January for, I think, 16.2. I don't have that. But these are crazy numbers for one issue that was created back in 1970 that nobody's ever heard of, that nobody talks about enough, right? It gets, if you're a high-end collector, it's on your radar, you're on eBay or Heritage Auction, you have notifications set up because you want to know when this book drops, right? So these are the things, again, want to educate you guys because I can't promise y'all that DC or Marvel is going to be very bright in the future, but at least you have what we have that's doing well. And you're going to hear a lot of people that are going to start to say, collect what you like. Collect. People have been saying it for years, collect what you like. And one of the things my homeboy said over the weekend, he said, yes, collect what you like, but I like liquidity. And this, my friends, is liquidity. This book is going to stay liquid, especially as long as there's Black collectors who go for historical books. But we have to be more conscious of these things. We have to Google. We have to type in. BlackComicLords.net is your one-stop. We have over 300 Black comics on there, and their keys, their honorable mention, their dope covers, and they've been sectioned out from Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age. There is, and guess what? Even if you don't go to BlackComicLords.net, which is really easy to navigate, there is still yet no excuse. And you know why? Because now you have AI. You got the freaking internet. And guess what? People who hate AI, that's fine, because once you go to Google, that's the first thing that pops up is the AI recommendations. And so if you want to type in first Black female superhero, blah, 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 it's going to give you AI, it's going to pull up AI stuff. So at this point, and where we are in 2026, if you don't know, you can always go ask. You can just, if you don't even want to go to it, if you don't want to go to the website, you can just go on your phone and who's this? When did Black Panther eat pizza? It's going to show you. It's going to tell you. And you might have to sit there maybe 5 to 10 minutes and then go to that book and kind of search it, look through online. Okay, Black Panther ate pizza. But you can now pinpoint exactly. Back in the day, you had to get your butt up, go to a comic book shop and hope that they had that book there and then thumb through all those books until you found what you were looking for. But now the work has been done for you. You got a website dedicated to Black keys, BlackComicLords.net, Black comics, BlackComicLords.net, Golden Age, Bronze Age, Silver Age, Copper Age, Modern Age books. All that stuff is on that. Do we have a complete library? No, but we have over 300 books. All right. Let's keep going. Next book. Black Goliath original art. All right. The last issue of the series, which is dope. I wish there's actually a particular. Some of you guys that know your stuff, you know that in the Black Goliath issue for number 4 or 5, they get kicked out into like outer space, someplace on this weird planet on the other dimension, and it's cold outside. And there's a son, there's a child, there's a woman, and then there's Black Goliath kind of holding them. And I might be able to pull it up. And I would love to have that original art. But Black Goliath, he's dead. He's been dead for over, God, Black Goliath's probably been dead for over 20 years. Original art, cover number 5. Nobody really cares about this character like that, right? $13,000. $13,700 for original art. You can own all the comic books you want. But if you got that original art, bro, you got you something. You got you something. Man, we got a lot. I want to go through some of these Black women in comics. So, real quick, want to switch gears really fast and talk about this. So, some of you guys ain't into big money books, and some of you guys aren't into a lot of liquidity. Y'all just like to read modern stories. That's what I do. I don't have 13 grand to throw on some original art. I got you. But here's where you do have some money. And I want to talk about some things that are coming down the pipeline for your boy Jon Stewart, because we all saw that that trailer, and everybody's talking about. Some people think it's going to suck. Some people think it's going to be good. I'm gonna watch it. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. But one thing that I've been big on saying, bump DC and Marvel. Somebody just said bump DC and Marvel. Listen, one thing that I've been telling you, they can take away T'Challa. They can take away Jon Stewart. They can make them whatever, right? Turn them into hamburgers for all I care. But you know one thing they can't do? They can't take away your Green Lantern 87, original 1970. Can't take it away. 1971, I'm sorry. They can't take this away. Go and get you. This book, I'm thinking you can get a 5.0 ungraded, but 5.0 book. This one's probably a 6 or a 5 somewhere. I got to really take a look at this. You can get this for about maybe $200, maybe. Definitely, this is the one that you want. Not the reprint. You go get the reprint. Now, if you want to spend the money, go get your reprint. I got 2 reprints in there, but I bought this about 4 years ago for $109. $109. I got it before Aaron Pierre was cast as a Green Lantern. Go and pick this up. These books matter because this was going to be liquid in a couple years. If Jon Stewart blows up, this book is going to be liquid. However, it's not going to be liquid for me because I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to pass this down to my kids. First Black Green Lantern. A lot of people think this is the first Black superhero for DC, and it's not. And then some people say, oh, it's Black Lightning. Black Lightning didn't come out 7 years later. Actually, before him, you had Viking the Black, and then you even had Mal Duncan. Mal Duncan is the first Black superhero. But I'll let y'all get the misinformation on TikTok. No shade. Now, apparently, Hot Girl, Superman are going to be in this next Superman, Man of Tomorrow, whatever the title of the movie is. But Aaron Pierre is going to join them. I've been talking about this book till I'm blue in the face. Nobody cares. These are the comic books nobody cares about, right? A lot of people don't know and don't care, but Jon Stewart does show up as the Green Lantern here. And then issue 2, you don't see him again. You don't see Jon Stewart again, God, until like 1971, like 1974. And even then, he's not even a Green Lantern. He's a backup Green Lantern. He doesn't even have his own ring. You know how I know that? Go and grab, and this is in most shops. You're not going to pay more than $50 bucks for it because nobody cares. But this is the second appearance of Jon Stewart. And not only is this the second appearance of Jon Stewart, he teams up with the Justice League. Hal Jordan is supposed to be going to meet up with the Justice League to join this mission. He trips in the tub, busts his head on a counter, passes out. The ring immediately leaves him and goes and finds his backup. And I think Guy Gardner, who was technically the third Green Lantern, he was the first backup. He's incapacitated or something's going on with him, so they have to go and find Jon Stewart. They do go and find Jon Stewart, and he teams up with the Justice League. This is Justice League of America, issue 110. You're not going to pay more than $50 for it because when it comes now, it's on Key Collector, but guess where else is at? It's on blackcomiclords.net. Click on sold listings. You can see what they're going for. If you want to buy it, click on buy online, and you click right there, right there on our page. You go to blackcommodore.net right now. While you listening to me, your little YouTube, you can multitask on phones now, right? Go to blackcommodore.net, type in Justice League of America, and then boom, all the Justice League of America issues will pop up. Issue 110. Go pick up this book. If you want a Black Key, this is his second appearance, and he also battles with the Justice League. Go pick this up. You ain't gonna pay more. You might not be able to afford that other book. Go pick it up. Now, next book. When does he technically? Now, even after this issue, he's not the Green Lantern anymore. The ring goes back to Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan is the Green Lantern. John doesn't become the Green Lantern for the Sector 2814, I believe, into the 80s. Green Lantern issue 182. This is a key book. This is when he basically takes over. This is where he is officially the guy for Earth. Green Lantern issue 182. Now, this book back during the COVID year, it spiked up over $100. I think you can go into a shop. Now, you won't find this in the Green Lantern bin. This will probably be on the back wall. If you go to a newer shop, this won't even be in there. This will be at this will definitely be at a convention. If you go to a guy's shop where he doesn't keep up with key books and he just has his stuff just thrown about, you might find that in there. But these are the stuff that's already been pulled from years ago and people are just holding on to them. A lot of these books are going to a lot of people are going to dump these books on eBay to see what they do. I doubt they'll do anything. But this is probably the third most important book. We can talk about Mosaic. Now, this is John Stewart in his own title. John Stewart, Emerald Knight in his own title. So this is important because he finally, I think this book's like 3 years old. It took him like almost over 50 years to get his own title, but it is what it is. And then he's in a relationship with Vixen, but this is Justice League Unlimited. This is for kicks and giggles. You'll definitely find this in $1 bin, or you might pay $5 if it's in the Justice League Unlimited bin. But yeah, I don't think you're going to see Vixen in this new Superman movie. But if you do, you can definitely come back and say, I told y'all wrong. But these are the books that you need to get ready for John Stewart, especially if you want to flip some of those characters. I'm focusing on characters. So Mr. Akabula says, I'm focused on characters like Zero, Pink Hammer, Technique, etc. The strong female characters that are Black, where I'm paying attention, like you said, collect what you like. That's classic. So, glad you brought up Black women in comics, because make sure you go and get your Hell Rider. Now, I'm not sure what Hell Rider is going. This is the first Black female superhero in comics. You did have, well, let me back up. There has been some recent discussions of Torchy Brown from All Negro Comics. She was an adventurer in that book, but she was heroic. So how come she's not a superheroes do not have to have superpowers? If you go look up the definition, it also says at the bottom, or somebody that's very, very successful. So superhero is not just powers; it is a wide brush of definitions. So this, I will probably have to go back and make some changes because they make a good case. This is one of the first Black female superheroes in a comic book. She's also in a series as well. So, yeah. But what's interesting about this is the first Black female superhero to ever star in her own, in her series inside of a book, but she doesn't lead this title. It's Hell Rider. That's not the name of hers. Her name is Butterfly. So she's in a series, but she doesn't star. Her name is not in her own title. Now, definitely go and pick up this book. Now, exactly, a female heroine is Herschel, true comic book history here. Okay, appreciate that. Torchy Brown was in Jackie Orman's comic strips, not All Negro Comics. Torchy Brown, so thank you for the correction. I'll call him my magic mentor. I told him to stand by because he's gonna have to help me out. Torchy Brown was in Jackie Orm's comic strips, not All Negro Comics. That is true. So I believe this one would be the first one in the actual comic book. So appreciate you helping me out. Now, how much did I pay for this? I want to say $235 for both, and I got lucky. But also, too, I love to say that this was the same guy that created this book. A couple months later, or maybe even a couple years later, created the Ghost Rider. Okay, I won't get into Ghost Rider because I don't do demons and dragons and vampires and stuff like that. I don't even touch that. Had a bad experience. We don't get into that though. So, anyways, yeah. So definitely go and pick this up. Definitely no book. Now, what about first black female in her own title? Well, that would be Super. I don't want to get flagged on Facebook, and I have it. I just didn't bring it out. Super BITCH, created by a white guy. You might be able to steal that one nowadays for less than $50 on eBay. Super BITCH is from 1977. It's very, very perverted, very, very perverse, but she's a heroine in that book. She's in her own title. So if you want that book, go pick it up. Is it mandatory? No. In my opinion, it's not. Do I own it? Yes. Is it mandatory? No. Book that I like that's undervalued, that's just black, not Black Women, but every month is Black Women Month. But this is Women's History Month, so that's what we're doing tonight. Salimba. This was written by a white guy. This is a comic book, issue 1 and 2. Definitely go and pick this up. Let me adjust my lighting. That's probably my problem. So y'all can see. There we go. So issue 1 and 2, definitely go and pick this up. It's weird. It comes with 3D glasses. Came out in the 80s. But this is the first black female superhero to ever start her own series. The series means 1 and 2. Can't forget Friday Foster. Appreciate you. Did talk about Friday Foster. I believe did Friday Foster come out before Hellrider? We have a Friday Foster guru that's in the back. He's been DMing me. He'll let me know about that. Keep me straight. If I'm lying, correct me. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm actually gonna put this over here in my special stash. If I'm ready to just go to it real quick, I can. Everybody has the first Monica Rambeau Amazing Spider-Man annual, I think 16 from 1982. I think that's great. But if you want to go to the next level with your black characters and have something nobody else really has or talks about, and you ain't got to pay a ticket, you can probably pay about $70 for this. You want to go and get you Spider-Man Summer Special. This is the UK variant. First appearance of Monica Rambeau. Monica Rambeau is actually has all the information on the back. So let me read it to y'all. Original published Amazing Spider-Man Annual 16 from 1982. This came out a year later, but this is her first appearance. Stuff came out late over there in the UK. This has some posters in it, different things like that. Who's That Lady? Roger Stern did this. John Romita Sr. and John Romita Jr. And she would go on to be Captain Marvel. Now, this book is probably, I don't see no foxes, but I do see some minor ticks. I'm thinking 880 at best. All right, what we got? Friday Foster also predates Super B. No, but Friday Foster is the first black woman to headline her own comic book in 1972. So, thank you for the correction. Friday Foster is the first black woman to headline her own comic book in 1972. And she was a hero. Friday Foster also predates Super B. Okay. Yeah. So I'm glad. Thank you for the correction on that. I did say so. I'm a Capes and Cow guy, and Friday Foster did not pop up on my mind, but it's all good because as long as I corrected myself, I'm good. So a lot of people put out bad information, but I appreciate the community for keeping me straight. So definitely go pick up Friday Foster. I don't own Friday Foster. I'll get to that. I'm a Capes and Cow. You ain't got no mask. You don't fly. Yeah, I don't really go for you. But Friday Foster is the dope book. You can Google, and she actually had a movie out. I don't know if the comic book came out before the movie or the movie before the comic, but it doesn't matter. She actually had a TV movie. I think it's a TV movie. Correct me if I'm wrong. Super B came out 5 years later in 1977. Let me know if Friday Foster had a movie based on a comic or a comic based on which one came out first. Keep me straight. All right, what else we got here? Also, because I don't want to hold you guys too long. Now, there's another chick that nobody talks about. I think Blurred Without Fear did a video on her years ago. And if you, I don't know. I know she's been on the board to like, oh, we should do this. We should do this show. We should do a series on this. I think the time has kind of passed on her, though. I don't think they're going to take a move, but I think within the social justice era, from like 2012 to like 2022, 2023, that time span, her name has popped up. Her name has popped up. This is a Frank Miller book. I think she would work. She's got tons of material, but nobody talks about her anymore. That is Martha Washington Goes to War. Now, what you're looking at is the variant. Because remember, if y'all, my real comment heads, y'all know that she's shrunken down. You see the little bullets at the bottom. This actually came with this. Oh, man. This actually came with the action figure in the back. You can find this on eBay for like $30 because nobody's looking for it. Really, really dope character. I don't know who I would have to play her, but she definitely needs a TV show. I mean, listen, would I want her to be running along the lines of Homelander and the Boys? That crazy? No, but I would want her to be amped up a little bit, right? Kind of like a little bit of that speed without all that perversion and weird stuff. I would love to see her follow that show up. I think she would do a damn good job. Who would you get to play her? You're going to have to get like a rough and tough actor, not too old, not too young, post-apocalyptic world. I would love to see it. Do I think she would last and do well? I hate to say this, but I'm going to say something that's going to hurt a lot of y'all feelings, but it is what it is. I don't think the white boys will have a problem with her because she's an original character. You know who I think had the biggest problem? Who would not show up as strong? It's us, bro. Because sometimes we have certain characters in our head. We have this thing where there can only be one. And right now, that one person that we're like really pushing for, instead of us walking, chewing gum, and rollerblading and shooting the basketball at the same time, we really hyper focus a lot of times on maybe one or two characters. And that person is Storm. And I love Storm. Like, she's amazing. But I think sometimes, every time you see DeWanda Houston or any of these, a dark-skinned woman that looks good, oh, she should be Storm. Oh, she should be Storm. But it's be so many other black characters. And when you even try to push them up or talk about them, and you fan cast them with somebody, oh, that person should be Storm. And it's just like, let them breathe. Let them be something else. And I just hope if she does get a show, that she doesn't turn out like Naomi, to where she just falls apart. It's really, really good writing. I don't know who you would have. Now, could Ryan Coogler do it? Yeah, I mean, that's always going to be our go-to, right? I would trust Ryan to do it. Speaking of Ryan, Oscars is supposed to be coming on tonight, so I'm gonna let y'all go see, because I know some of y'all are expecting the Sinners to win a Oscar. I actually didn't watch Sinners. I gotta go watch it. I'm gonna have to go watch it. All right, let's get back to the books. Let's get back to these books, man. Bump all this talking. All right, we talked about Original Boy, went for $400. Original Black Comic. What are we talking about? Why are we fighting? Why are we arguing about some of these books when there are some black books out here that's killing it and winning it? I'm glad I'm here to educate y'all, because this is what we should be collecting as well, man, because this one has liquidity that we want. So, people like to joke, tease, and talk about Triathlon. But somebody took them serious. The book, this original art, this is the cover, George Perez, 15 bands for this cover of Triathlon. I do have a George Perez sign. It's not slabbed or anything, but I do have a sign. George Perez sign. Listen, if you are big into collecting, you've been into bins and you've seen freaking George Perez in those bins. Like, he signed so many books that they're in dollar bins sometimes. Like, he signed a lot of stuff. And it sucked because I actually have walked into shops where he just walked out of. And I just missed him like in 2 shops here in Central Florida. And he was literally just like an hour before I walked in the shop, he was just there signing books for free. And on his last, especially his last year, man, he was just signing stuff for free. I think he had like terminal cancer and he passed, want to say 21 or 22, something like that. Y'all can go Google and look that up. The woman who played Shuri, the woman who played Keke Palmer. Or maybe Keke Palmer. Keke Palmer is going to have to gain some, she's going to have to put a little weight on. She's going to have to get in that. She's going to have to do Hugh Jackman and eat a bunch of calories, work out. She's going to have to get, because she's very, very petite. And you want it to be, we all remember when we saw Angela Bassett play Tina Turner and what Angela Bassett used to look like, and then when she got in that gym and she was toned, looked like a rock star, like she had muscles everywhere. It was like, whoa, you went to work, you really sold out for this role. And I think that's what's going to add value for somebody like Martha Washington. If we see you go in that gym and I don't want you to be cock diesel, but I want you to kind of look the part. And I think, could Keke do it? Sure. They might surprise y'all though. It will require, I think she's got the grit for it, but she would have to definitely go and get in that gym. The girl that played in Sinners, and she also played in Lovecraft Country, the dark-skinned girl, she's got an African name, she's from Nigeria. She could play it. Now, she ain't the same skin tone, but could she pull it off? She could pull it off to play Storm. I suggest Jane Lawson. Yeah, everybody suggests Lawson for everything. They might surprise y'all, and she might be Vixen. It's gonna piss off a lot of Storm people because it is what it is. I won't get into Storm again. I think she's an amazing character, but we can be so hyper fixated as a culture on what because you know, Anton said something on not Wakanda Whistle and Blur them, but the Storm. We do we talk about the Storm comic book. And he said something that hit home. And I've been thinking it, and every now and then I'll say it. It's not very popular. And it might hurt a lot of people's feelings, but it is what it is. He said, listen, I know people like Vixen. I know people like Nubia. But listen, if Storm and T'Challa can't make it, what chance do we have? And they're right. Because those are the characters that we hold up. They can't do no wrong. They're perfect. You know, everybody leaves with T'Challa's the smartest. He's basically the Batman of the Marvel Universe. Everybody leaves with, you know, Storm is Omega level. Nobody can beat her. She's Jesus. I mean, you've literally got people that talk like that. And that's cool. Maybe I'm not going to gatekeep how you geek out. However, there's other characters out here that are great that just need the same fertilization that they had. It's okay for Storm to have Nubia, to have Vixen, to have I don't know. What's the face girl over here? Her face. We gotta talk about action figures later. Star Sapphire, who's black. It's a version of her that's black. It's okay for them to be elevated too. For us to like multiple black characters and be geeking out of all of them. We don't have to all be equally, but Storm can have her time. Vixen can have her time. Shuri can have her time. We don't have to try to compete. Ain't nobody trying to compete. Vixen ain't trying to compete with Storm. Nubia ain't trying to compete with Vixen. Everybody should just eat. We don't have to try to compete to see who's the best. Like, that's too tribal. Let's just say, man, Storm got a movie, Storm got a book. Oh, let's go love on Storm. Let's go to, because Bishop got a book that's coming out. Now people feel, people say, you know, hopefully it's a slam dunk. I don't know. I think we all love Bishop. How invested, and I ask this question all the time, how invested are we really in Black X-Men characters? As far as buying a book and geeking out and talking about them like we talk about Storm. How invested are we? You know, or is it just Storm and then the rest of y'all over here? And I think, honestly, that's kind of what it is right now. Storm, the rest of y'all over here. We love y'all too, but Storm right here. That's just where we at. And I'm going to get off that soul books. I'd rather have, so in Manifesto says, I'd rather have seen that other woman from Sinners as Harriet or Cynthia Earl. Yeah, we'll see. I don't think we're going to get, listen, I don't think we're going to get Vixen in this new Superman Justice League movie. I hope I'm wrong. We're darn sure ain't getting no Nubia. They might as well pack her up because they ain't doing it. Until they can get Wonder Woman. until they get Wonder Woman in, and I think they've done that. They can't bring in Nubia. Nubia, people would freak out if it was Superman, Batman, Green Lantern, and Nubia. They would freak out. They would not. They would not be going for that. They want to see Wonder Woman, whoever the new actress is for that. I want to see Nubia, and if they do a Wonder, listen, I'm gonna pull a weirdo card that I see a lot of times on this not on this channel, but on YouTube sometimes. I might think about if they do roll out a one. Nah, let me not say that. I don't want to say that because I'm gonna piss somebody off. Let me not say that. Kids book, Milestone, Superman and Batman featuring Milestone for Kids. This book was whispered about a lot back in 2019, 2020 in Black Superheroes Forever, which was the precursor to Black Comic Lords. And I remember this was like a $500 book. It's $202 now, but it's a freaking kids magazine. Static and Rocket, Near Mint, Unread, Raw, $202. I wouldn't have sold this book. That's my War Machine helmet. I wouldn't have sold this book. I would have not. Static got hot. So February 23rd is when this book went on sale. This person probably either needed the money or said, I got, or might have multiple copies. But I would have set on this book because this book is a ghost. This book just don't pop up like that. I would have set on this book like a rooster sits on an egg, bro. Like a chicken sits on an egg. I would have set on this book until Static would have came out in the movie. And I would have tried to get me $1K for this. Now, Static going to be in a movie? I don't know. But there's no way I would let this book go for $202. I don't have the comps available, but there's no way. This book is so rare, and it's a freaking kids magazine. Like, we probably all seen this book in school stores or Walmart, sitting right there on a peg warming. And then now look what she's doing. And this book consistently sells well because it's a freaking ghost. It's a freaking ghost. I actually don't know anybody who owns this Herschel Toys coming alive over there. Yeah, bro, it's a War Machine freaking helmet, which is weird. They just start talking. So yeah, I don't know what that's all about. So if you keep it up in this mode, it don't make no sound. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's trying to tell me to shut up. Go buy some of these books instead of sharing them with y'all. I need to be on eBay, Heritage House. So this sold on eBay or whatever. L Big Buy 4RF7. Some of y'all be coming up with these weird names on eBay. I mean, nobody wants to put up their real name, but still. And this only got 2 bids. 2 bids. So that means 2 bids. It was 2 people fighting over this book and it went for $202. He lost. He lost out. He should have dropped this. This book should have dropped 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Or a week ago. Maybe. Or you wait. If you you need the money that bad, you should have waited. I think this is a premature sale, but it is what it is. Not my money, not my book, but still good for Static for a freaking magazine. Not even a comic book. All right. Can I say nobody's? Now, you have to be very intentional when you look for this book. This isn't something that's just going to, I saw it. No, you have to type in Superman, Batman, magazine, milestone for kids. Magazine, milestone for kids. You have to type it in that way, or it just does not pop up. And if you find it raw, now, I surmise you can find this in a shop raw, sitting somewhere funny in a box. Probably bent. But damn good sale. Damn good sale. Let's keep it pushing. Oh, she is life. She is life. Now, the number has been scratched out on this. I think this book sold for like 400 and some change. But one thing, so, we all know Stranger Comics just got option for a Black publishing movie house. Let's see what happens. He's been optioned before, but I think now, I don't want to say option. They actually signed a deal, and they're going to move forward with the movie. So I hate to say option, so forgive me for that. But they're going to move forward with the movie. We don't have any more details, but as they come out, lock it in right here to the Black Comic Lords channel because that's where the news and the information is going to be about this movie or TV show when it drops. But yeah, man. But listen, We're going to run the commercial real quick, and I'll be right back with some more stuff, and we're going to wrap the show up.
Comics are different. Those things cannot be returned if they do not sell. Okay, so that means that if they buy 10 copies of Monica Rambeau Photon and nobody buys it, they eat that money. And your local comic shop is, the margins are very thin, right? Times are hard for everybody. And so what that means is that it gives comic shop owners incentive to be very risk averse, right? And so you could order a bunch of Batman and you know that every month people are going to come in and buy Batman. It's often characters of color, new characters, lesser known characters where they're like, I don't know, this could be good, but if I put this on my shelves and people don't buy it, I lose money. And I'm sympathetic to that. That's a real assessment that they have to make. So the way that we avoid that is you go in and you pre-order. So Paul goes in 3 months before the comic set comes out and says, hello, I would like to pre-order Monica Rambeau Photon #1. I'm not going to wait till it comes out. I'm telling you now that I want it. And at that point, they're like, okay, let me go ahead and order this. And in the comics world, that is the sale that counts. By the time you come into a store and purchase a comic book, that sale does not count. I know it is ridiculous. It is very silly. That is the way it is. The sale that counts is when the store orders it from the distributor. That is what they are counting. And so what that means is that when you go in and you pre-order things, it actually gives that store confidence. Like, okay, Paul said Paul's going to be back and spend his $5 on this book. So we're good. If we order this one, we know it's going to sell and we can pay our rent. We're not going to be eating this cost this month. The best thing to do is your subscription or your pull list where you go in and you say, I want you to put these in every month for me, right? And then they will set that aside in a box.
Message.
Boom, boom, da-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Can't you like envision a black man sitting on a chair with picking a guitar with a cigarette in his mouth doing this? That's why I just envision in some slacks on, a button-up shirt, a gray beard, and just this. Anyways, all right. Hold on, wrap this up. So, couple things. Let me just zoom in on me. I'm gonna talk to the people real quick. I'm gonna try to pull a Richard White. Today's scripture, ladies and gentlemen, is gonna come now. Listen, I got a confession to make. Dun dun dun. Listen, when I heard about books that were about to drop, like many of y'all, I took my butt down to my local comic shop. I just grabbed the comic cover I saw. And I bought this is first appearance. This is actually Mantis. Shout out to Woody Cordy. This is a magazine called Spectrum Magazine. It's a magazine. Now, it might be the only print or the first print of Mantis on a magazine or a comic or whatever. I paid like $21 for this. Nobody's looking for it. Nobody really knows it exists because unless you're Willie freaking Cordy, you don't know nothing about this. So I picked this up. It's got like a funny bag. This is in the original bag and board from 1991, 2. But if you want, this is the closest I've ever seen to having Mantis in print in a magazine or comic form, something like that. Definitely gonna pick this up. But I say all that to say this. I would go and pick this off the shelf, buy it, and then 3 months later it gets canceled. I'm like, what the freak? Man, they don't like black people. Like, why they keep canceling our books? I didn't realize the importance of pre-orders until I really met Paul. So, I mean, that was like 6 years ago. Because like a lot of people, I just showed up and I picked up a book and I just thought because I went online and said, oh, look at my book. I bought this book, geeked out about it. You geeked out about it. The other guy geeked out about it. Well, that means everybody's buying this book. No, actually, they're not. And the book got canceled. And guess what? It got canceled. It was just a miniseries. Sometimes miniseries sometimes miniseries get canceled. You want to know one that did? All of you guys that have your Bibles, open up to, I'm not, no shade, But open up the Blue Marvel #1. If you look to the top right, it says 1 of 6. Now tell me, ladies and gentlemen, how many issues that book ran to? Ran to issue 5. You know why? Because nobody wasn't pre-ordering that book. Now, when I first heard pre-order, I'm like, damn, I got to go and pay up front all this money for all these different Miles Morales, Spider-Man, X-Men, Superman, whatever, right? I got to go, no, I don't have to pay any money. And the thing was, out of my ignorance, I learned that, no, you just tell the shop, hey, I want you to set, we've been talking about this forever. I know y'all like, God, no, here we go with another pre-order explanation. But bro, y'all be surprised how many people have no clue about this stuff. But they are literally pissed off at the world right now because things aren't going their way. And I'll be honest with you, I'm at Marvel, and this is Marvel and DC. We know indies, they work different. But I get companies that mind the business that pays them. I get that. Did I say that's what Marvel and DC is doing? I don't know. But I do know this much. That if we don't pre-order, the next opportunity, if you guys are so, I gotta have my Cyborg, I gotta have my T'Challa. The next time these motherfuckers drop one shot, you better have your butt in there and buy the FOC and pre-ordering it. And it's not good enough that you're doing it and 10 of your friends are. We need thousands of people to do it. It's not your responsibility to keep that book going. It's all of us' responsibility to do it. If we want to see that book, let's see what happens to Bishop. I'm going to know by issue 1. It's a 5-issue, I think it's a 5 or 6 issue. I'm going to know by issue 1 or issue 3 how well that book's going to do. And I'll be able to go on my threads, go on my Black Comic Lords Facebook group, 99,000 people in there. And if ain't really nobody talking about it, this ain't going to be no hit. Because if it was, oh man, y'all remember when they race swapped everybody, made a black Wolverine, a black Cyclops. Everybody was on the whole house, and some people was looking like, bruh, y'all really excited about a black Wolverine? It takes that to get y'all going about a black character that's not Storm. Wow, really? I know I'll take some heat for that, but that's all good. It is what it is. We have to pre-order these books. That just means that the shop goes and they order it for you. Now, you have a tab, you need to show up and pay for those books because they have to eat that cost. And you can't show up 2 months later and say, oh yeah, I got about 2 books up here I want to pay for. Come on, bro, don't do them like that. Also, if you're balling on a budget, right, you can't really afford to X-Men, Superman, Spider-Man, maybe find 3 books. That's less than $30 a month you're going to pay for your comics. Maybe it's just Miles. Maybe it's just Storm. Maybe it's just Black Panther. But guess what? You ain't got to worry about Storm, Black Panther, or Miles because guess what? We don't have a green light on another mini or ongoing on them anytime soon. Now, Storm has a 5-issue mini. I think she's like, 2 issues in already? But you ain't got they finna cancel the Black Panther book that was out. And Miles is coming to a close, if not already closed. So you ain't got to worry about, if you were just buying, I'm buying black. If you were just buying black, you ain't got to worry about it no more because they about to be up out of there. It said, so H&H Comics, explain FOC is please. Okay, FOC, thank you H&H Comics, whoever you might be. FOC is basically final order cutoff. So I'm just throwing this out. I'm throwing this out here. So Mask, which is the mobile something, I probably shouldn't try to butcher that. Mask is going to be, let's say Mask drops in June. FOC for that book is going to probably drop in May. That means you have to get your pre-orders in. You have so many weeks to get your pre-orders in, to go to your shop, or call your shop, or get online. If they have an online queue, hey, my name is Derek Mason. I want to order blah, blah, blah. Check those boxes. You hit submit. Now that comic shop knows that I need to go and order those 3 copies for you. Now, if you subscribe, that means that every time that FOC comes, I'm automatically pulling those 3 titles for you. I'm pulling that Original Woman. I'm pulling that Hunter's World's Finest Power Girl. This is also the first appearance of Power Girl, the Black Power Girl that's like Black Goliath. She can get big and tall. And I'm pulling your Martha Washington, right? Because you subscribe. I'm not. So every month, because comics, unless you're a big dog, you don't have no bi-weekly book. every month I'm gonna go ahead and order this for you, and you basically gonna have these boxes sitting in your pull list. Now you might want special variants. You might have to come in and make some type of you might have to do something to get those. Maybe a 1 for 25 or 1 for 50. That shop has to order 25 copies in order for you to get that 1 for 25. Right? They have to order, and if they got several people that want 1 for 25, they're gonna have to order a lot of books. So that's what final order cutoff. If you don't get it in by then, sometimes after the final order cutoff, they are still able to get those books in. But most of the time, in my experience, they can't. They'll say, well, it might come out in second print or check another shop, maybe check online. But that's kind of how that works. And I'll be honest with you. I don't shame. Can I say shame on us because we didn't know? You don't know what you don't know. It's not Marvel and DC's really responsibility to kind of tell us. It's kind of like, now, if they want to make some more money, it would be nice if they did. But if they don't, who cares? In their mind, like, okay, we getting our money from Absolute Batman. We getting our money from Absolute Superman. We getting our money from our core titles. So if the rest of these titles really don't fan out, okay. And that's probably their mindset. I'm not telling you need to agree with that, but again, they're minding the business that pays them and probably paying them the most, which is going to be their core titles. And then the historic characters that's been around, like Green Arrow, that's been around since the freaking 40s. So they're going to always make sure they're going to do right by the Plastic Mans, the Hunteresses, the Zatannas. They're going, even if they suck, they're going to make sure they do. And guess what else? They're a white company. They're supposed to do right by them. And that's why these black companies are supposed to do right by us. But even if they don't, I just showed you some books earlier in this darn video that you need to be investing in. And some of these books are very attainable. How do I know? Because I got some of them. This is a $400 book, and I have a comp to show you that this is a $400 book. And it's not my opinion. I got a comp. So we talked about the Green Lantern books that you need to go and buy. Because if nothing else, if we don't get a recast, we don't get an ongoing, we got $400. We could turn some books over, right? We ain't gonna never be walking around here mad and crying. No, we gonna make some money. If we don't get what we want out of these comics, we gonna make some money, right? Another book everybody should have multiple copies, and they might do something with her, but I don't know. I think a window has passed, and DC turns over their creators team quite frequently. Maryland Moonlight, first appearance, easy book to obtain. This might be a $14 book now. Somebody might have been able to convince the market that she's a $14 book, maybe a $7 or $8 book. I think she's going to pop up here and there, but if she doesn't get the fan craze, and she doesn't get the cosplay, she doesn't get the energy online, I don't think DC will pay attention. I think DC will continue to just kind of throw her in a couple things and then boom, out of there. We'll never see her again. I just think that's just, and they can afford to do that because they have no one to answer to. So I think that's going to really depend on the energy that she gets, but they're going to have to do some fertilization. They're going to have to fertilize this character by continue to make her look very classy and beautiful and kind of mysterious and kind of give her that swag. Because that's one of the things I tell people all the time. Storm was a cool character. Another thing that set Storm apart is Storm is actually really nice to look at. Yeah, she's a Omega level mutant, but if she does, most of the time you don't see her do blizzards. Most of the time it's electricity or it's wind. And she can do a whole hell of a lot more than that. But that's more the main thing that writers tend to kind of hyper focus on: electricity, water, and wind. Those three elements. That's the only thing they put. But it's her look, and she has multiple outfits. Like Iron Man has multiple suits. That's another thing that helps her kind of stay with it. Spider-Man has had multiple outfits. It keeps it fresh, keeps something good look. It keeps her relevant. And I think that's very, 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 very important moving forward with any female character. What else? We talked about female characters, Women's Month. Look, original woman. This is the first black superhero ever created by a black man, but just not this book because this came out in 2000. The other book we saw, Sister Girl, that I showed you guys earlier, came out in the 90s. But she was created in 1992, a year before Sister Girl. But she's in Omega Man #2. That book is on eBay for about $200, and I'd be damned if I pay that. I'm not paying it. I'm gonna try to catch somebody slipping, and I'm gonna steal it. I'm not steal it, but I'm gonna get it. But that's online, and I only see maybe 2 online. This book is not online. You'll never find it in a shop. You'll never. This came out in the early 2000s. It's got Omega7.com. I think 2001 or something like that. She looks gorgeous on the cover. Extremely, like, it's not even a ghost. There's only, I'll just say this, man. There's only one way you can get this book. There's only one way you can get this book. And trust me, I can't even, listen, if I put this book on eBay right now, for the people that know, minimum $500. Minimum $500. And the reason why I can say that, because this one just went for $4. And this was a little bit more common than this one, but they're from the same company. But this one is a freaking ghost. And there was a guy in our group that had this. And if you go online and type in Original Woman Mega 7, dude, you can't even find pictures of her. You can't even find, like, there's like literally 1. And actually maybe 2 now because of the stuff I post. If you use AI or Google, it's going to take you to Black Commodores to where I showed you this book. That's how scarce this book is. And I've searched for that book for years. Caught a lick last year. Pulled a couple. I got like maybe 4 of those books. Well, think I'm going to go back to that fishing hole and try to get some more. Shout out to my BCL crew because I made sure I took care of them. Yeah. Storm is too OP. They should have made her into an Avatar type character where there's certain triggers to enable her abilities that puts writers into a hold. Well, since we're talking about Storm, and I know we don't do that, but remember, back in the day, there were some barriers. There was some little things that the writers, she had that's schizophrenia. She had claustrophobia. And she was still, they kind of try to play it like it's still semi-experimenting with different elements of her powers. She is OP. And OP, my thing with OP characters, Blue Marvel being that too, once the cat is out the bag, you show them at their peak and they're just washing everybody, to allow them to fumble on the goal line or just fumble in general, fans get pissed because you've just showed this person literally being a god. And now she struggles with Silver Surfer or she struggles with Gambit. You're pissed because, they nerfed her. You have to be mindful of how far you really let these people go. That is why when Captain America beat up T'Challa with its Ridley run, people were flipping over tables, bro. That's how pissed they were because you've basically made this person unbeatable, and now you've written him in such a way to where he is not. So next time we're gonna jump in, I'm really, really gonna let y'all go because it's getting late, and I got like an assignment to do or something for my job. I'm going to get into action figures. And I will tell you that. I know someone, I don't do action figures. What are we talking about? Listen, action figures moving forward, if DC doesn't respond and does this ongoing thing or whatever, I'd say the Todd McFarlane figures are still holding their. He didn't make a ton. So he made a lot of different characters. Bro, he's made over 1,000 easily in the last 6 years he's been doing this. 6 years plus. But the black character numbers are thin, far few in between. If you can find the red icon, not the green one, but the red icon, I'm going to come up here. The red icon, definitely you're going to want to hold on to that. I wouldn't even move that out of the bag. So I got this little deal right here. Let's zoom back out a little bit. These are my action figures that I have. I even changed that out a little bit and put some black stuff in. It's a little ganky. But I would say, out of these figures, let me see if I can hold this up right. I would say if you're gonna get somebody, get that OG Black Lightning. That's like a $70 figure in box. Most of the time, you can try to get that a little cheaper, but you definitely want to hold on to that. The first static action figure, he's like a 4-incher. Definitely get that. You can get that cheaper now because Todd McFarlane came out with his version, which he's 7 foot tall. He's as tall as Aqualad. Obviously, you gotta have Icon, the green one. That's like a $60 figure, but the red one is like $100. He went for, I paid like $50 for him. You can probably get him cheap. This is a custom. Bumblebee in the back is a custom. I saw him today in a shop for $74. I would definitely go and pick up this John Stewart Green Lantern. This is the first Green Lantern from 2001. I believe, yeah, from 2001. That is the first John Stewart ever produced. He also comes with a ring. Definitely go and pick him up. That's one you're going to want. This is the first Mr. Terrific. Pick him up as well. You got Bronze Tiger in the back. This is supposed to be Miles Duncan as the Guardian. Obviously, you have Vixen and stuff like that. So when it comes to DC Comics, bro, I've always been invested. I've been kind of silent because of the way they've been moving lately. But at the same time, man, like, I'm invested in the black characters there. I don't have any white action figures for DC. I have tons of Marvel white action figures. I don't have any because they so common. It's like 60,000 different Batman figures you can buy. Wasn't really invested in all of that. So I'm about to wrap this up, man. I think anything back here. Listen, last thing. Shout out to Concrete Comics. I still have yet to see anybody turn this light on. I've still yet to see for a black independent, and y'all can argue with me in the comments, argue with your mama. I've still yet to see. I put some of these in these wall plaques. Anybody in the independent scene for a black woman in a comic book to come up with a better cover than Luna. You're gonna have to prove me wrong. I have yet to see anybody come out with a better cover for a black independent comic book than this. I don't think anybody out there that could beat it in the independent scene for a black woman. Just don't think it hasn't been done yet. It hasn't been done yet. And a lot of times, this is Women's History Month. Most people are only going, most a lot of these podcasts are just going to talk about Storm. But this is a book you need to get. You go on Concrete Comics right now and pick this up. Amazing cover. And definitely in love with this cover. Should have got it signed. Might send it back to him to get this signed. But this is definitely one you're going to want to have and get into your collection. By Concrete Comics. Go and check them out. Again, Storm's got a lot of amazing covers. Some that's better than this one. I'm just going to keep it a buck. But as far as the black independent scene, you're going to have to prove me wrong. I'll be the guy. I'll be Charlie Kirk sitting at the table where the thing says, prove me wrong. You can't find me a better one that has been made than this one. If you can, post it up. You know why? Because I want to go and buy it. No shade. Anyways, any questions y'all have, something y'all want me to answer, I'll definitely do that. Let me get into these comments. Into Creative by Original Woman. What company is that? Original Woman is Omega 7. We're talking 90s. I don't want to say, oh, that's real indie, but no, this is like gritty. only was able to do cons. Now, shout out to Omega 7 because Omega 7 did a lot of crazy things that still haven't been replicated to this day. Number one, Omega 7. Y'all making me go and get some of my crown jewels up here. Omega 7 Comics had their own action figure line, and they got about 8 to 10. And these boys was from back in the early 90s, and they was in Toys R Us, the biggest toy company for its time. They were in there. Now, you can go right now and pick up Omega Man on eBay. There's about 3 or 4 on there, about $50. About the same condition as this, a little warped on the plastic. But, buddy, I actually saw one in a shop locally. This one got some tape on it. This one's not going to go for the back. I think I might have paid $60 for this. This was last year. I'm gonna go Tuesday and buy the one that's in my local shop. You're not gonna listen. You can maybe find this in a shop, maybe a very, very liberal comic shop. They'll have this sitting somewhere. Ask, or if you got one of those old guys that's been in that same shop for 20, 30 years, he's seen this before. Ask him, does he have any Omega 7 or have the image on your phone? You're gonna want this. This is not before Sunman, but this is right after Sunman. This is one of the first black action figures that were created by a black man, and he was in a major department store. I mean, what else do I need to say? What else? And he was in Toys R Us. That's been confirmed. Original Woman, what company is this? Herschel, can you take a moment to talk about Omega 7? Alonzo Washington, Herschel is asking. Listen, so Omega 7, I want to talk a little bit more about Omega 7. Omega 7 also came out with a book called Dark Force. And what they did in this comic book is that they wanted to help out with literacy, and they wanted to, this is during the AIDS epidemic. So not just teaching kids about HIV and AIDS, he went as far as putting condoms on the back. And if you can still find, listen, if you can find the comic book with the condom, I actually have a video on that on our channel, so you guys have to go back through. I think it's like 2 years ago I did it. On the last page of Dark Force, he has a condom in there on the last page in there, so kids, so people will be safe. Teenagers will be safe when some of them was sexually active, and that was his way of trying to stop or slow the spread of the disease. Y'all remember when Magic Johnson walked up there, was like, "Yeah, I got HIV," and everybody freaked out, and that's where everybody went and got tested. This was during that time, but brother, if you can still find that comic book with the condom in the back page, that motherfucker's gonna go for some money. But see, that's historical. Now the problem is, there's not a ton of black people that know anything about it. So it would definitely have to take some curation and some education long term if you can find one or two copies. But honestly, that would be something that I think would probably have to be negotiated going to the museum. If not for permanently, at least temporary. And I would be mindful what museum you put it in. Make sure it is owned by the curators and not the government, because all that stuff can be packed up in. Because once it is in that museum, you don't know. It depends on what's going on. It could get packed up and shipped out somewhere or destroyed. I don't know. It depends on what's going on. Just to be fair. I know of somebody personally. I know several people that's a part of the Black Comic Lords community that the museum has reached out to, or they reached out to the museum. Hey, we got some historical stuff here. Would you guys like to have it? And some of the negotiation fell flat, and it just wasn't a good deal for them. But yeah, man, Omega 7, he did a lot of stuff. He had like 8-figure line with action figures. He did a lot of child. He's still active in Kansas City. And he did a lot of work with finding missing children. Do your research. I don't want to go too far into everything. Do your research or whatever. But yeah, man, dope guy. Look, he's a little out there. He's got to be in his late 50s now. But Omega 7, man, now they're defunct. They're no longer a company anymore. They kind of fizzled out in the early 2000s. But he put everything he had into making these comic books. Again, no Kickstarters. He put up his own money. He told me, son, I put up my own money for these action figures. I saved my money and I put them up. Now, granted, action figures today is going to cost you a ticket just to get a mold of one. And he was able to do it. So he worked. He probably got some donations mixed with his money to help him do that. But hey, he made it happen. He wasn't complaining. He didn't say what the white men ain't do for him. He shut up and he just built. And that's what we got to do now. This is a great segue into that discussion. It's time to go from where we were to where we want to be. We got to build now. We can't look for the white men to help us do nothing. We got to build for ourselves. And the GDP for African Americans is 18th or 17th in the nation. That means we're bigger than Spain, money flow wise, cash flow wise. So does all that cash run through comics? No, absolutely not. What percent of that makes up comics? Probably 0.5%. But there's still enough stuff here that we can even grow in prestige if we freaking curate and educate. That's why we're trying to move from just posting random pictures up in Black Comic Lord's Facebook group to talk about why this book is dope. You know, why is Original Woman good? I actually got to read this book. I got like maybe 3. I'm scared to open it up because it's in pristine condition. So, you know, why is John Stewart the one shot important? Because he's in his own title. What does that matter? What does that mean? But we got a lot of guys just posting, oh, look, I bought John Stewart. Talk about the book. What did you like about it? All those things matter. Those grow the interest and prestige of the book. So if that is you who just post pictures of books, but you don't really talk about them, you don't really want to give your opinion because maybe you think nobody cares, I don't know. You got to start doing it. That's how Superman got to where he is. That's how Batman got to where he was. That's how Aquaman, because people talked them up. They discussed them. They didn't lie and grow these wild opinions. They just organically talked about these characters. And I think with Black characters, we're so used to, there's so many, I think with being Black, we're so used to sometimes thinking we're second class and nobody, and that we don't matter. And maybe to certain people we don't, but I think we should matter to us. And that's what we got to start at. Does Original Woman matter enough to you if I tell you the story? What are you going to do with that information? What am I going to do with the information when I go out and I do those? All of those things work together and they do us some good. Let me go back to the things. I know I can run my mouth and don't get back to this question. Exactly, is the cosmology is the real problem we don't talk about. The royal cover is better from concrete. Suriel is a good cover as well. Really good use of coloring. I don't have her out, but I do own that book. So Zoriel's going to check out link Omega 7. Omega 7 is a dead link. But I could be wrong. Could be wrong. Chat GPT. All right, great show. Here we go. Do you have the bobblehead? No, I passed on the bobblehead. H&H Comics, I passed on that because I'm just an action figure guy. And I said, bobbleheads, I've just never been, I should have got the bobblehead. I might try to go back and get the bobblehead. I think the bobblehead is now you're getting to extra rarity. Like you have the extra strength, Tylenol. When you get to the bobblehead, you're going to get extra. Because I've seen somebody else. I know of 5 guys that own Original Woman, right? How many people own the bobblehead? Not a lot of people. But I think you might be able to run into a sports shop or a comic book shop. You're going to find the bobblehead maybe if we can find the comic. I think that bobblehead is still, that's going to be hard to find. I might go double back and try to go and pick that up. We're going out of my little fishing hole. Do you have the bobblehead? When did the show start? Lucky I looked on here. Good evening, BCL. Notice it can make all of our action figures even though it's not a collector. Noble Chi can make all our action figures even though I'm not a collector. Is he on Instagram? Is that an Instagram? Our Herschel Indies have to get these partnership situations straightened out. Bankers, economists, marketers in our organizations. I have several of the Omega Man bobbleheads. Yes, H&H, I'm pretty sure you do, sir. Herschel, Indies have to get these partnership situations straightened out. Bakers, economists, marketers, and other organizations. Yeah, I mean, they do. Is it a good time for me to say it's easier said than done? Probably not. But we have to be able to also bring some volatility to the table. We have to, there has been some partnerships in the past. Now, I don't know the exact details, but I will speak on one that he put out. I'm going to speak on it because he put it out. The Concrete Comics had a partnership with Under Armour. And they were at the Under Armour football game, I believe, and they were selling some of their comic books. I think these type of things should have been happening years ago. But I think there was a lot of people when we talked about superheroes that were focused on MCU, DCU. They're doing well. They're billion-dollar franchises. Oh, well, what about Martha? Well, I gotta grab a Black Indie. What about Original Woman? I've never heard of her. Am I going to take the risk? Am I going to take the investment on her? You got to find the right investors that are willing to take the investment outside of the big two. That is the biggest thing. And right now, the big two are going through a little weird period. The highlight is gone. Remember those books were spiking during COVID? They're trying. Wonder Man was a success. I didn't appreciate it, but apparently it was a success. Wolverine. I think the last MCU movie was it Wolverine and Deadpool? It was a success. So we're going through this rebuild period. I don't know who your investor is going to be into Black Indie Comics right now. There ought to be a lot of people. There ought to be, Tyler Perry should say, I don't want Tyler Perry to touch these comic books, but he can still be an investor. Oprah Winfrey still be an investor. But I think if you're going to come in, you better have your stuff right. You better have shown that this book has sold or are selling. You got to be able to create a product and a plan for them, and just don't show up like Shark Tank and it's like, oh, I don't got like 1,000 sales. Like, you got to show them that you have your stuff together. And am I saying that we don't? I'm not saying that. Listen to me carefully. But I think if you're going to approach them and you want some sponsorships, it ain't just as simple as, oh, I sold 2,000 books. You got to show them that you've been able to move some units. You paid your taxes on time. Your money, your stuff is in order. Your portfolio has to be tight, right? And you have to show them that you've got other smaller investors. All those things have to come into play. And I think until that, and then once somebody takes a chance on that person who did it and it blows up, then people will start taking more chances. So somebody has got to be that sacrificial lamb, so to speak. Also, as well, now, and y'all ain't gonna like this. Watch this now. We ain't waiting on Hollywood. We don't. Within the next 5 years, we're gonna have the AI conversation that y'all don't want to have. Because I know there's people that's pro AI, there's people that's anti AI. But those same people are using Facebook and Instagram that are basically the biggest AI giants on the planet, and they continuously feed them. But that's a conversation for another day that a lot of y'all don't want to have. Pretty soon, a lot of people are going to be able to take their comic book and say, I'm done with Original Woman. I'm going to make this live action. And they're going to go to somebody that has a good program, and it won't even be C-Stream. Remember, Sora was the big thing before C-Stream. It'll be something brand new, and they'll go to them and they'll give them the script of how they want things to play out. And that person will type all that stuff into that computer, and then probably to do for trimming, editing, and everything within an hour, they will spit them out their movie and their show or whatever. And they're gonna put that out there. And we might be as a society have moved to a place to where that's what people are going to pay to go see. Maybe not in the movie theater, but on some type of streaming service. And they might even do something as far as have an AI platform like Tubi strictly for streaming. We don't listen. I know a lot of people rolling their eyes like, oh, I hope that'll happen. Listen, nobody saw this coming during COVID, AI videos 6 years ago. Nobody saw this coming. I remember when Midjourney first came out, it was sloppy as hell. You had to really know what you was doing just to make something look halfway decent. Now you ain't got to do that. Now you can just run to any little old funny little app, say, I want the Black Comic Lords logo to jump off, and he'll do exactly what you say. So that community is continuously growing. And guess what? For all y'all who don't like that, Marvel and DC are using it now. Marvel and DC been using that. So for all you guys that want to escape that and get around that, I don't want that, you can have that. Nobody's going to make you like y'all. What's that movie where they you couldn't open up your eyes? If you open up your eyes, I think Tyrese was in it. Somebody help me out in the comments. Says Came Out Company is a horror movie. If you open up your eyes, the demons will look at you, and then you would go crazy or whatever. Nobody's going to try to force your eyes open to AI. Nobody's going to make you do it. But you're just going to be working alongside of it, Grumpy, because it's coming. Skynet went live in 97, and it's here. So just get ready. Y'all think it's bad now. Just get ready. I use AI all the time on my job to help me research and get stuff done. Absolutely. Yep. And that's a part of our job now. And pretty soon, once they get these robots rolled out, it might replace my job and many of y'all job. And I'm gonna tell you something else. We might, within 15 years, you might not see us on a live show. We might just put in all the stuff we want to talk about, and there'll be a virtual assistant that's sitting up here answering questions, talking to y'all about if comic books is even still a thing. Bro, we don't know. Listen, the worst AI has ever been was right now, because tomorrow it's just going to get better and better and better and better. Conversation we don't want to have, but it's here. We don't have to love it, but it's here. Unarmed joint is good. Start. We need more. You keep referring to these organizations. Please go step deeper. How does the indie engage with them? What do these organizations need to see in order to invest? That's a great question, H&H. Because every week I do see my man talk about investing and talk about, can you tell us, make a video on YouTube, go to Black Comic Lords Facebook group and have a discussion and share your knowledge about how all this stuff is supposed to roll out and get done. We would love to hear from you. All right, we'll keep it moving. That's why I said that's why you chase down these Black economist organizations, the Black indies. I agree, though, easier said than done. Strong survive. Social media and Google, they're not hiding Herschel facts. They need to have a proper business plan. Yes, and this is what I mean by what they need to see. Herschel is, I keep saying, sponsorships, partnerships, mergers, and acquisitions. Herschel, Marvel and DC would poop themselves if this was to happen, referring to the indies attacking the economically and systematically. Graphic novels will always be here like religion. Boy, you typing faster. Are you AI? Because you've been, oh my God, no, bro. You must have your you must have your keyboard hooked up to your brain like Iron Man. You typing fast. Listen, we would love to see it happen, man. Maybe it'll happen one day. That'll be dope if it is. What was I gonna say? Yeah, we'll see. I was talking to somebody tonight. I have a feeling right now things are interesting in comic books. Books are still selling well. Original art ain't going nowhere. So I don't care how great AI gets and how much you can just sit back now and just do this and just watch the TV screen. It does everything. I don't care what happens. Original art, human original art that I was showing you, I was going for 15, 12, 153. That ain't going nowhere. That's going to keep pulling. That's just going to shift to another gear and just get better and better and better. So AI is not even trying to compete with original art, because those things which are done by humans, the original of this. I think I have some original art. So let me come over here really quick. I mean, I know I have some original art. I just don't know where I put it. I think it might be. I put it down. Oh yeah, it's right here. I don't want to mess it up. So here's some. So here is some original art. Right here, the sign. I forgot her name. This original, I got it in this plastic sleeve. Nubia from issue number 2 from her return. So I got some original art right here in the sign. H&H, you know her name is. She was at the Atlantic Comic Con, and we've had her on our show. She's like Afro-Latina. Help me out. Let's see. Maybe H&H can help me out here. What her name was. Oh my God, I'm embarrassed. Yeah, but this is original art from her. So he hasn't hit me back yet. He might be gone. But H&H knows, because I know he was at Comic-Con. Yeah, but this type of art here ain't going nowhere. People are always gonna pay good money for. I don't care what AI does or doesn't do. I don't care if the Terminators start walking the earth. Original art is always gonna be king. Original art is always gonna be king. But yeah, man, as far as everything like that, it is 913. Super cool piece. Original art is good. Any other questions? Any other topics y'all want to bring up? Trying to think. Might be it. I need Kevin Greavy to write more Sister Samurai. Kevin Greavy is going to be at MegaCon in Central Florida, in Orlando, Florida. If y'all are in the area want to fly down, I suggest y'all do that. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Kevin got to be late 50s, early 60s. Some of y'all need whoever, and I would definitely, if you own Blue Marvel #1, you gotta get them inside. It just is what it is. But I'll say this. A lot of these guys that we grew up with 20, 30, 40 years ago, they were working at Marvel 20, 30, 40 years ago. So you know what that means. These motherfuckers getting older. And pretty soon, they ain't going to be gone, but they'll stop coming to these cons. So if you get an opportunity, especially these black guys that's working, I'm going to tell you something else. Matt Baker is a bad Bama Jam. But in 20, 30 years from now, a lot of these guys are going to be gone because they already have lived the majority of their life, bro. Let's go keep it a buck. So if you want to meet them, if you want to get their autograph, the time is now. I suggest Alita Martinez. That's who did this. And I got like 3 or 4 more pages. It was a blessing for her to be. She's, I think, one of Marvel's first black artists, or DC or something like that. Excuse me, Alita Martinez. I gotta go back and do my note. H&H, keep me straight. Keep me straight, H&H. This is a small. Actually, I need to hang this up on my wall. But what was I gonna say? These guys are getting older. Black Comic Lords is getting older, man. Y'all see how I'm gonna start to look like Richard right now, man. Black Comic Lords is getting older. So if you got time, got a little cash on you now, your taxes came back, man, see what you can do to get some of these signatures, man. Dennis Cowan is in his 60s. Let that sink in, bro. So if y'all want to, listen, we don't have Dwayne McDuffie no more. He left 2011. So if y'all want to get these signatures and actually meet these guys, the time is now. And some of these brothers do charge. Some of these brothers charge. I ain't gonna say no names, but somebody that's coming to a con, gonna say no name, he charged almost as much money as the book. So hey, but it's worth it. In fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and put some money to the side, give this book to somebody so they can get it signed. I know Paul's going. I might just give it to Paul and let him get it signed. And Paul, I'm telling you right now, you mess up my book, I'm coming to your home, your place of residency, bro. Okay? So don't, oh man, I had it in my backpack. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. But Paul's smart enough to be like, bro, take your book and hand it to somebody with CGC. I am not going to be responsible for your comic book. But Alita Martinez Facts, what's good? BC, I need Kevin to write. I've never seen Sister Samurai by Kevin Greavy, but I'm sure that's a good book. Anything else you guys got before we get up out of here? I got to work tomorrow. So what am I looking forward to coming up? Can't say much. I'm just going to look at them. I'm going to keep my eyes on the market. I'll be back on here probably maybe tomorrow night if something crazy happens. I might pull back up. Maybe I'll talk to some people. They might want to come on and share something. Tomorrow night for sure. Tuesday night, I definitely won't be back on. I'm just standing in for Richard. I think Richard's either going to be back next week or a week after. So I'm just standing in for Richard. So, I make videos for YouTube and I put them out there. Some of y'all watch them. Most of y'all don't. But I'll come on, do a live. But I'm trying to stop talking about the doom and gloom. About how the community is going this way or what's wrong. I'm trying to show y'all in light of some of this negativity, there's some books out here that's making some money. Some utility out here, man. And take it from me, man. Yes, buy what you like, man. Speaking of buying what you like, man, freaking go to Ross, bro. And get you this stinger usually goes for about $80 to $100 in Walmart. Got it for $30 from Ross. Now, results may vary, and this door opens. You got your boys on the inside. And you know, I'm not even a Hatut Zarari guy, or how you say it. I'm not a G.I. Joe guy. But you think I'm gonna let a damn Stinger Cobra truck sit there for $30 and not pick it up? You crazy? So what I'm gonna do with this guy is I'm gonna put some Wakanda stickers on it, all the way around it, but not too much. I want to look like it was originally intended for that. And I'm just gonna sit. You know, these are, I like to call these expensive statues. I don't play with them. I don't even think I rolled it too much. I just posted up. So I got 4 Hatut Sarari, the police, they hate T'Challa, whatever. Listen, if Marvel isn't going to do an ongoing series for T'Challa, that's fine. I'll write Hatut Sarari, the origin, not the origin. I think that's lame. I'll do a with my team's help, obviously. I gotta be democratic about it. I'll do the best. Y'all seen some of my covers. Not all of them are great, but the ones that are great are great. I will do a mini. I don't even care about ongoing for this. I'll do a mini, the best mini you will ever see. The Wonder Years or the Year One, Hatut Sarari, or even I made a whole post about how I would do it based off of how they really feel about Wakanda, because they want to be like, they would come from a more of a standpoint of dictatorship and do like a police state. That's how they want to run Wakanda, and that's how I would have them be jerks, and I would have them be very, very controversial, and I would have a mole on the inside and T'Challa, and then we'll kind of get into a little thing. It would be dope though. In 5 issues, I'll knock it down. And guess what? If you don't like the story, that's fine, because you're gonna love them covers. Them covers gonna be nasty. And guess what? And I'm coming in the room swinging hard on all y'all with my covers. I'm not gonna do them. So here's Hatut holding the gun. Here's Hatut on the back of a truck. Nah, bro, I'm swinging hard. I'm swinging hard on my covers. I'm swinging super hard. It's gonna be very, back in the golden age, they had some very gritty, wild covers. I'm gonna hit the black community, because I know y'all like, the salacious or the wild stuff. The cover gonna be wild. Cover gonna be wild. I'm gonna have some blood drop. I'm gonna have some ripped shirts, gun, gear. It's gonna be looking like G.I. Joe-ish, but like to the next level, like Vietnam. I'm gonna have the woods. Like it would be dope. Who would I get to commission? I would be the producer. I would have the production manager for that. That's probably not even a position. But I would do something like, shoot. Man, who would I get to do them? Torrent Clark would definitely do some of my covers. Who else would do? Christopher Priest to Galaxy Con, Oklahoma, May 22nd to 24th. I have to get there somehow. I've never been able to meet him in person yet, so I hope to do that. You know, it would be dope if we do a Q&A with Christopher Priest. I don't think we've ever had just a Q&A, because we try to be respectful. That's a lot of questions. Some people would, not y'all, but some people would show up just to be bugging. Like, you're gonna have somebody like, oh, well, why did Blue Marvel turn his back? Why he ain't push back against the government? Obviously, you didn't read the story, but a Q&A would be dope. We have to find somebody to do that with. I wouldn't want to do that with Priest. I can see Priest like, man, next question. I can see Priest like, next question. Huh? Next question. But yeah, man, that'll be dope. I would kill y'all with some covers, though. I would kill y'all with some covers. And if y'all don't pre-order, get my book canceled, I'm gonna show up to Black Comic Lords. I'm gonna dog out the black community. I'm gonna dog y'all out. Oh, y'all don't buy nothing. I dog y'all out. Nah, I'm just joking. But anyways, man, shout out to you for the I gotta dang, why ain't been on here in a while? Appreciate the funds, brother. Appreciate it. This mic can go to a Happy Meal. This mic can help us get a new laptop, new camera, keep us going, man. So I appreciate it, man. Expensive Paper 4214. Appreciate that. Just a little something to keep the lights on. I appreciate it, man. You see my lights back here? Got me some Marvel things, Captain America, whatever. Appreciate you, Expensive Paper. Make sure Expensive Paper, you go back in. If you're just not getting here, go back and watch the show from the beginning because we talked about some Expensive Paper. Do we have, can I get you, see, I ain't been on here in a while. Let me see if I can get you a super chat.
Show me the money. Yeah! Louder! Show me the money! I need to feel you, Jerry! Show me the money! Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money! I love black people!
Super chat. Bro, I haven't been on here in a while. I forgot what that's even called because I ain't been on here so long. Appreciate the super chat, man. What was I going to say? I guess I'm going to get out of here, man. Y'all got anything else? Sinners wins the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. Congratulations, I guess, because I'm a part of the camp that these award shows are subjective. And people, especially black people, we will be quick to say they don't want black people to win anything. And y'all can have that argument. But you know where I would love to see black award shows and us run to those award shows and us to cry and jump and scream and shout when we get something from our own people. That is where it is for me. When somebody else on the outside of our community does something for us, when we do something for us, that's the energy that should be a little different. We should be appreciative of the Oscars, but we got to be more appreciative when it comes from our own Oscar-ish awards, NAACP, I don't want to say BET because BET is a little funny, but NAACP awards, Black Movie Awards, or whatever. I don't care if it's in a small amphitheater. That should be around your own people, giving you your flowers. That should be where we get it. We can criticize the other man all day long, and historically they've always just given it to white people. Y'all had that argument, but they don't have to give us anything. But you expect it from your own people, and I think that's where our love and our passion and that's where our Oscar should sit, somewhere in our trophy room. But the one we get from our own people should sit up here. And until we change our mindset of how we view ourselves and how we look at ourselves for the most love, and I appreciate, y'all looking out. I appreciate y'all doing this, and my people feels good when it comes from people that look like me. I think we're going to elevate. I think we can get to the investments. I think we can get to the mergers and to the companies that want to do more for us when we feel like we don't need them. If they wouldn't have won tonight, cool. I got something for my own people. The best thank you I've ever gotten was from my own parents. I just went down to my dad's house, helped him cut a piece of carpet to put in the closet. That meant more to me than working on my job or getting an award someplace else. Because that, I know it mattered a lot because it's for my own people. And the things that you get right there at home should matter more. But we are constantly looking for affirmation from people on the outside who have historically let us down. Who have historically let us down or didn't allow us to be in these rooms. At least that's the narrative y'all painted. So we should be screaming, shouting. I'm not knocking you or Sinners or anything like that. I think it's great to win the Oscars. And I know the people have put the Oscars at the top. Oh, we got another super chat. Fast Willie Jackson. Appreciate you, man. So Fast Willie, we talked about Fast Willie Jackson books earlier today. Issues 1 through 7. I thought it was actually more, but it said a complete series. All 9/8 sold for about $12,000, 12 or 15 grand. I gotta go back and look at the number. Can I go back and pull it? Let me see. At the stage. Y'all not gonna let me go tonight, but I'll take your money. I'll take your money. Show appreciate you. Let me go over here. Back to Fast Willie Jackson. Oh man, we ain't get a chance to talk about True Comics. Fast Willie. Here we go. Fast Willie. 12-2. It's over 12-2. And I love to say this throughout all the drama and stuff that's going on with the Big Two. Look what's going on with some old books from 1976, 1977, Black Leads. Now, this is a miniseries. It's not ongoing, but look what's going on, man. $12,000. Now, the big question is, did a black person buy this? Did a black person sell this? We don't know. We don't have those demographics. But it would definitely be interesting to see who had this book. But I would definitely say, do not be surprised if it was a white exchange between one white hand to another, because they appreciate a lot of our older books. They really do. And it's been a proven fact. Because when you go and check their collections, a lot of these white boys that got Negro romance, a ton of them. And a lot of them got all Negro comics as well, too. So just a little note there. 9:30, what else we got? Y'all got anything else? Wow, dope. All 9/8s. Yeah. All night. Heritage auction. I would say, depending on what you have, eBay might not be the best place to put your books. It might be Heritage auction. Golden auction, too. Depends. Golden auction, you need to have. They got like Mickey Mantle cards that's going for a couple $1 million. Like, they deal with big stuff. Like, honestly, I think Golden should have taken the Eben comic book for 9/8. I'm gonna go to that too. If they would have taken that, I think they could have made more money than 16.5. But that's just me. I think LPA, I've never heard of them. I know Golden is a pretty big brand. I think they could have got more than 18.3. I think they could have probably, with Golden, they would have got about 30. Maybe. On the high end. Because right now, comic books are moving, but like I said, during the social unrest, COVID era, everything was spiking. Everything was spiking, man. But he says, did you see many copies of the Untamed have sold? Did you see how many copies of the Untamed have sold on eBay lately? A lot of them have sold. Do we need to go over to eBay and check it out? Let's go check it out, man. We live, so let's go check it out. All right. Let's see. The Untamed Sinner's Prayer. Wow. Somebody better pull that one. That's cheap. That's the first appearance right there. I mean, gosh, $50. And then, $5.99, so about $55, maybe $57 with tell me this book got some issues. Look, it got some spine ticks down there. I can't zoom out. Let me go down this way. Yeah, it's got some issues right down in there. Yeah, and on the back right there. So yeah. If that is a white line, yeah, that's got some issues. Yep. That's probably why that's $50. But that's still not bad. If you're trying to get in low, yeah, so let's see. Go to sold listings. I learned this years ago. Go to sold listings. Can't see it. Show the wrong screen. All right, what are we looking at? Oh, yeah, it is showing the wrong screen. Let me do 1 second. Remove. We're going to add screen. Oh, remove. Why I did that. All right. 1 second. Share screen. There we go. Share. Y'all should be able to see it now, right? Let me see what y'all see. I got to edit this. All right. There we go. Alrighty. So $10. Oh. $10. What is that? Second edition hard. That's a hardcover. $75 for those. 9/8 went for $205. Let's go to most recent sales. Ended recently. We already on ended recently. So not too crazy. $70, $115. The 9/8 First Down with Stranger Comics. Y'all should be able to see the screen now, right? Yeah, we go. Y'all see the screen. 205 is not crazy, but as soon as that get like some more information, it's going to explode. 59, Centers Press 70, and 10. This is signed. Yeah. Damn, that's a signed limited edition. Now, one thing about Sebastian, there's tons of variants. Tons of variants. And you just got to find out which one of those variants is like the most rare. And only Sebastian would know that. That's crazy because we got some Black Comet Lord variants. Those might be some of the more rare ones. The Black Comet Lord variants. Okay. Let's see. Check out high sales. $2.99. So highest was like, yeah. A lot of them moved in February and early March. Not too crazy. But the fact of the matter is they moving. One thing I like about Sebastian, though, and you never see their brand caught up in no mess, no drama. You never hear, nobody has nothing to say bad about Sebastian. I love it. In the midst of all the stuff, the crazy that's going on right now, his name is always squeaky clean. And that's good brand equity, man. And every time he runs a kid, he out hustles everything and everybody. Like he's gonna get his paper. But also too, the determination that he has and the drive that he has is unmatched. I think in the Black indie industry. And shout out to him, man. We partner with him all the time. I can't say nothing bad about the guy. So that's good. Can't see show me. We see in Google, big volume, what's up, all the cheap stuff is. A Blue Marvel 98 just went for $560. A little bit, that sounds like a little bit on the lower side. But then again, that book can probably fluctuates probably a little bit. I mean, it is what it is. Especially while that is low. Yeah. I mean, I think Blue Marvel was doing like during COVID, and I know that's not, I keep bringing up COVID era. No, that's not normal. I think we were talking 3-4K, maybe at the highest. But I wonder how many of those copies are in existence. I'll have to take a look. Anyways, man, I gotta get out of here. Go take me a shower, grab me something to eat. I ain't even had no dinner. And I'm gonna call it a night. Appreciate y'all for coming on. Richard will be back. What else, man? Any last minute books to talk about? Man, go pick this up, man. Go pick up this Mantis. It's a magazine, Spectrum magazine. They did a whole write-up. I think this is right before the show. Shout out to Willie Cordy. If y'all know Willie Cordy, when Willie drops something, you buy it. You don't ask no questions. You're like, oh, how much that cost? You run eBay and you buy it. There was probably at the time about 4 left on eBay. I'm pretty sure more come up here. Not a high dollar book, but I don't think you're ever going to find Mantis on the cover of a magazine, something close to a comic book. This is close you're going to come. So Spectrum, pick this up. And yeah, man. See y'all, boys. Peace.